I'm covering the icon issue. I got issues. Yeah.
Hi.
Woohoo, guys. Thank you so much for coming to another episode of I Got Problems.
Yes.
And this week, the topic. But anyway, before I get that, my name is Sandra, and this is
Annabelle.
And if you haven't taken a second to review us on Apple Podcasts, please take a second. Please, please, please. It only takes literally a second. You just have to press 5 stars, and that's it. You just keep it moving. And if you're listening to the episode, then it shouldn't take you that long because you're probably already on the episode and you're listening to us talk right now. So just open the app and click 5 stars. That's all. All right. So this episode today is about you sound white. Now, if you've heard the word you sound white before, then you're already on the same line.
Obviously, you're a person of color. Yeah.
Yes. You're already on the same page as me. Because this is something I hear about often from the music I listen to, from the way I dress, from the way I talk, from where I live. Even when I went to Howard University in DC, people would be like, oh, you live in Howard County? That's so white. And I'm just like, what?
Have you been there?
They haven't. Or if I say I live in Maryland, they'd be like, where, Baltimore? I'm like, no.
That's all they know.
And then they go to PG. I'm like, no. They'd be like, so where? It's like, oh, so there's the only 2 places in Maryland. So it's such a struggle because it downplays our blackness. It makes you feel like you're not black enough. So
absolutely.
For me, I guess my problem is that acting white is one of the most negative accusations one black adolescent, especially in your teenage years, because you're like, what? Is one of the worst accusations a black adolescent can hurl at one another. It's embedded in ethnic and racial identity, ERI. And acting white has nothing to do with wanting to be white. Let's be honest. Yes. It really has everything to do with what it doesn't mean for you to be black. So does this mean that when you speak proper English and less AAE or African American English, this is unknowingly labeling you as ghetto, or your vernacular is ratchet, ghetto, unrefined, and improper, while it's also labeling the clear and more straightforward English, I guess you want to call it, as cleaner, good, acceptable, better. Yeah. Because when you say somebody sounds white, what are you technically saying? You're saying that you don't sound black. And by saying you don't sound black, you're saying you don't sound ratchet, ghetto.
You're basically assisting us or associating us with all the negative stereotypes, not being able to speak properly, not being able to read, or, just being unruly, basically. And that's not okay.
And it's really not. Because as black people, we claim to embrace our culture. So if you claim to embrace your culture, how can you at the same time say you sound white? It's like, if I act however I act, shouldn't the black community is such a melting pot from
it really is
everywhere. Black mixed with this, black mixed with that, black fully, black African, black everywhere. It's everything. So for you now, you don't even know what kind of English I learned. Yeah. And let's be clear, people in actual Africa were colonized. Most of us were colonized. So our English was mostly British or German, or it was some form of non-straightforward African language. So a lot of us learned English that was super proper because it wasn't the English that we're used to.
But also keep in mind that the Moors also came out of Africa and taught Europeans how to act and behave properly. I mean, taught them how to bathe. There's still people who don't know how to wash their legs in the shower.
So what people think
let's be real. You know what I mean? So, speaking properly is not something that should be associated with whiteness or the highest society or the elites. You know what I mean? So, all in all, it's really just an insult to black people when you say, or people of color when you say something like that.
And it can be very ignorant too. Like, if you ever catch yourself, please take a step back and be like, wait a minute. My bad, or apologize in that moment, because telling somebody, and there are people who wouldn't even realize what they're doing, because we have friends who just say that shit. Absolutely. They'll be like, oh yeah, you sound white, oh yeah, that's a little white, or, like, even I catch myself, even though I might say to myself in some moments, like, activities, like we're doing, like, oh, this activity is a little bit white, but that's fine. Fishing, do you see a lot of black people who are fishing? No.
Fishing is fun. I don't know who told y'all it isn't.
But a lot of black people don't go
fishing.
It's free
food, like.
Oh my God, you're hunting for your food? Yeah. But a lot of black people don't naturally wake up and go fishing. They don't naturally go hiking. They don't naturally go mountain climbing. So there are a lot of activities that you can consider white, quote unquote, but they're just regular activities.
And just survival skills.
Exactly.
Like,
just
you never know when
or
you
swimming. Swimming is the biggest black stereotype ever. And unfortunately,
you know where that actually came from. We weren't able to swim in the same pools as white people at
so we couldn't learn.
Dorothy Dandridge, she put her toe in the pool and they drained the whole entire pool.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? And so I think that in particular, when it comes to swimming, it definitely comes from that. We weren't allowed to swim with, white people or have even integrated beaches. Something God created, we weren't allowed to partake in. Can you imagine?
We'll talk about the history of the Black vernacular later, the African American English. Or African American vernacular English later, because there's a whole slavery related history on that. But in popular culture, it is largely misunderstood and thought of as bad English or ebonics, quote unquote. It originally was coined in 1973 by someone with supposedly good intentions from ebony and phonetics. Ebonics. That's where they got it from, guys. There you go. Ebony plus phonetic. Oh my god. Ebony plus phonetics. They got
to the best of us.
Yeah, from ebony plus phonetic. Oh my god.
Phonetics.
Ebony plus I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna have to cut it out.
Oh.
No, I'm cutting this shit out. Ebony plus phonetics was how they got ebonics. So it basically became a slur and ghetto talk, quote unquote, and blaccent. That's a whole thing as well. Apparently, NPR uses blaccent a lot. Now, I don't listen to NPR, but apparently blaccent is something NPR says every single
Catch me outside, how about that?
Right, it's disgusting. So anyway, I would like this episode to be one where we break down the stereotype and stop telling Black people specifically, who when they sound proper, that they sound white or they speak well. Don't tell a Black person who sounds proper, has an education, or because you don't know where their history, you don't know where they're coming from. Don't tell them you sound proper. Oh, you sound good. Oh, you speak well for your, especially those who are coming from a different country, like an Indian person or an Asian person or a Black person who's from a different country, fresh from the different country, and they sound proper. Oh, you sound well for somebody who just came from XYZ country. It's really, what should I sound like?
If English is not pretty much universal at this point.
Exactly.
With the exception of a few, remote villages or something.
And that's why I've been sitting here thinking y'all really is it, do you think before you speak sometimes?
They don't. They don't.
I found it's crazy. But anyway, so fact number 1, before we even get into the questions, the deep questions. What is AAVE? Because I mentioned that in the beginning. So AAVE is an acronym for African American Vernacular English. It is misunderstood to be bad English, which is what y'all tend to call ghetto English. When people be like, y'all, and in it, or I'm finna, you think that's ghetto. It's not.
Axe. Conversate.
Yeah, axe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a whole, you do know this is a whole different language. I need you to understand that.
Yeah.
It's just because you don't understand the language doesn't mean it's ghetto. You just don't know what kind of language it is. That's like somebody speaking Asian or some type of Asian language and you're like, that's ghetto because you don't know what it is. And they do that sometimes when Spanish people speak Spanish and they're like, speak English.
Yo, I'm not even Spanish and that bothers me. If I see that happen in real life, I'm throwing hands. Okay, I might not throw hands, but I might argue strongly.
You do not do that.
No, seriously, if I see somebody doing that to anyone, it's not okay.
It's so disrespectful. So it is misunderstood to be bad English when it is not. It is a full-fledged dialect of English. Just like, let's say, British English, which is the people who colonize a lot of African places. Yep.
Peep, peep.
Yep. Cheerio. So it is entirely rule-bound, meaning it has a very clear grammar, which can be and has been described in great detail. Just because you don't understand it or you didn't teach yourself or learn it, doesn't mean it's not a real thing. If you do not conform to the grammar of AAVE, the result is ungrammatical sentences in AAVE. So if you do not speak AAVE, that means your sentences are ungrammatical in the AAVE world. So you cannot no longer say, that's ghetto, just because you don't understand it.
And that was AAVE.
Exactly.
You didn't catch it.
Right. Yeah. So if it's like me listening to you speak and talk about, that sounds ghetto because I don't understand your proper quote unquote English. No, because you're speaking your English, I'm speaking mine. Let's all speak English. But anyway, so the history of AAVE. AAVE was born in the American South. And we all know a lot of shit went down in the South.
I don't know what it is. I love country and Southern accents when I can understand it.
Yeah.
It's just
those Southern accents, they go deep.
Yeah. P-Valley. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's just, I love hearing it. It's just
Mississippi.
This song. Oh, yeah. Let's go whiskey movie because we acting on that.
Yes. Okay. So, yo. That dance, I cannot deal with that damn dance from AAVE. I say AAVE from the South Mississippi dance. I don't even know where they came up with it. When you see the stick character do it,
I haven't. Oh,
yes, it is just the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
But guys, if I can find a link to it, I'll post it so you guys can laugh at it just with that. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it was born in the South, and AAVE shares many features with Southern American English. Mm-hmm. However, it was born out of a horrifically ugly history of slavery in the United States. So slaves in the U.S. were systematically segregated from speakers of their own language because slavery, they separate you from your family and your friends.
Yes.
So you come from a boat, they separate you from those who you speak languages with, and they put you somewhere else where you don't speak shit. Mm-hmm. So now what you gonna do? Figure it out. And let's be clear, okay? The fact that African American people figured out a different language after being separated from their original language, that's talent, okay?
Absolutely.
That's talent. Like, I don't even know where to begin with that. So,
without being able to read or write, that's in and of itself kind of miraculous, to be honest.
Like, it's amazing. And not to be treated like shit because of anyway, so they band together with other speakers, and that's with the language they learned was how they violently seized freedom. That's all the Underground Railroad, all that stuff. They had to figure it out with the language that they come up with themselves, which is where AAVE comes from. So that brings us to code switching. So before we even get there, let me ask Annabelle, have you ever been told that you sound white before?
I haven't been told explicitly that, but I have felt where, like, I was definitely an outsider or felt like different because I didn't act or speak in a like similar way. Yeah, in a similar way that was like pretty much what everybody else was. Like, especially in middle school, once again, taking us back there.
Middle school was trash.
I'm telling you, it's like, between that and high school, like, my most traumatic experiences, I swear. I was definitely an outsider, not only because I was an African, even though I was born in America, obviously, phenotypically, I'm African, so I look different. And on top of that, also act differently. My mom, she grew up in Ghana, which was overtaken by the British for some time. So of course, the mannerisms and some words they even speak are very English rooted. So because I didn't grow up in an area, when it comes to like up to elementary school, that was heavily Black. I grew up around like a lot of Hispanics, whites, like, so I didn't know what it meant to like act Black, if that means anything. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And you get confused too. Because they're telling you, they're questioning your Blackness in that moment. And you now have to question your identity. Like, wait, are you saying I'm not Black enough?
Now it's a thing where they think that you think you're better than them because you decide to act a certain way.
And that means that they're technically viewing that speaking proper as a better way. They're seeing that the fact that you sound proper or you sound like you can, I guess, speak quote unquote proper English, even though I don't really believe in proper English because whatever language you speak is proper. But if you're speaking this language or you're speaking in this way that they're not used to, and they're saying that they're feeling like you're better than them, that means they already put the white culture above their culture. They've already put white lifestyle, white languages, like white speaking, white dressing, anything white above Black. So if you're doing anything in the white bracket, they're like, oh, so you think you're better than us? Oh, so you think you're better than the rest of us while we're doing all this extra? It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm just doing what I was taught to do. I'm doing me. Like, I don't understand what you mean. Go ask my parents, like, or where I live. Like, what do you mean? So it's kind of sad that that's the situation we have to live in. But as a result of the African American vernacular language that we speak casually, like finna, ain't, y'all, like even talking about like, talking regular stuff like, oh, I'm about to go to the party and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, finesse this shit, blah, blah. Even you don't hear that from regular white people. They will say the same thing like, oh, I'm about to go to this party with Bob and Fred. I could tell my friends, yeah, I'm finna go to this party with Bob and Fred. Like, it sounds different.
But will it be Bob and Fred?
No, it's not gonna be Bob. I'm finna go to this party with Jerry.
Tay and Derek.
Yeah, like, it's different.
Stop it.
It's gonna be different for real. It's gonna be different. But it's never gonna sound the same. The exact same tenses is not gonna be. But we also see white people trying to sound Black. They try so hard, especially gay white men.
And it's funny because you can tell the difference between white people who generally grew up around Black folk versus white people who are trying.
Yep. And they try hard. We can tell, guys.
It's such a turn
If you listen to this and you don't think we can tell, we can tell. It's very aggressive. We go like, just like, why is he trying so hard? Why is she trying so hard?
Like don't try to relate to me by...
trying to be like me.
Emulate the negative stereotypes that you think will help me relate to you. That's
like, oh, she'll understand me more if I sound like this. And it's like, you don't even know where I come from.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad. But Anyway, the last definition I was define is code switching, which is a summary of everything. Basically, as a result of Black people trying to conform to society because we're seen as ghetto when we speak our regular English, we have to code switch. A lot of us code switch in the workplace. On the job. All the time.
AKA the customer service voice.
Yep. Yeah. Oh my God. Like on the phone, like, hello, would you like to speak to blah, 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 blah? Like, yeah. Or I sound extra white, like my voice gets higher.
Oh my God. Hi. How are you doing today?
Like, oh my God.
I'm going to help you.
Oh, you love that? Oh my God. I'm so happy. Like, totally. Like, yeah.
I'll certainly do that for you, sir. Yeah. Give me one moment. I'll be right with you.
I'll be right back. Can you take a second? Yeah. A 5-minute hold and I'll be right back with you. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Have a great day. And even though it might not be that aggressive like we just did, but like we try a little harder when we're on the phone, and it's like even when job interviews, those phone interviews.
Oh yes,
yeah. Oh, I heard you.
I'm so grateful. My name's Annabelle, y'all. Yo, if I walked around here with a different name, I don't think I would have made it into some interviews if I'm just being 1,000.
And like, I've had conversations with people where it's just like. They're like, oh man, my name is XYZ. Do you think I should change this on my resume? I'm like, don't change your name in your resume. Their name could be like maybe like an African name. They'll try to change it.
Yo, have you seen the experiment where they had 2 similar resumes? One was for a white man, one was for a Black man, but the Black man didn't get a call back. Like one name was Daniel Williams. This is just like an example. And the next one was Dante Williams.
Yeah. And they didn't call Dante. Yeah. No, this was part of the article. The article that I got most of these facts from, it did speak about stuff like that, where it actually affects your daily life. It affects the amount of money you can make, how far you can move up in a workplace, how well your life can be in and your entire future literally depends on how somebody else views you. So a lot of people tend to code switch because they don't want to risk that. Yeah. And even though you might code switch and it still might not do much, it's still better than the other option because you're still viewed negatively. So let's define code switching, because most of you probably know what it is. But code switching is the practice of shifting the languages you use or the way you express yourself in your conversations. You switch up and down based on wherever scenario you're in, whichever works. People do it without realizing it based on the environment or whatever goals they aim to achieve in that moment.
Absolutely.
There are 5 reasons why people code switch, so I'm going to run through them really quick. 1, it's automatic and unintentional. You do it just because it's just like you just get an environment with white people and you just start to sound a little white. Like
it's fact.
Yeah, like you don't even think about it.
You don't want to be the Negro that's shucking and jiving. You know what I mean? It's just it is how it is. Like you have to assimilate.
Yeah, let's go. Master said, let's go back to the Let's go in the house. We gonna play some violin for Master. The Freedom Roll calls.
You watching too much TV.
I know.
I'm done. Continue, girl.
So number 2 is it's automatic. Number 2, it's to fit in, especially it's to fit in, especially if your first language is not English. So a lot of people who speak different languages, especially if I'm speaking like my natural language, my first language is Yoruba because I'm Nigerian. So if I go to an environment where there's Nigerian people, I'll probably change my accent. I'll probably change my speaking. I'll even change my language sometimes so they can know that, hey, I'm one of you. I can relate. Yeah. Otherwise, look at you like, look at that one. You know, like they'll start judging you because your own people do judge you.
Oh yes.
And then if it's around white people, I might sound a little valley girl. I'll be like, yeah, I guess you want to call it Howard County because that's really what it is. I'll be like, yeah, pumpkin spice, totally. October, yes. Halloween, I can't wait. Starbucks, I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'll switch over into that, but it's not because it's how I really sound. And people around me will know how I really sound.
I think it can really be genuinely both. I don't feel like it has to be like so
fake
or so much of a persona. I think you can be both in different environments.
Us who live in Howard County, I think we sound like normal, what we think is normal all the time.
Absolutely.
When we go out into DC or Baltimore and they're looking like
they definitely they know you're not from
they're
there.
like, where are you from? Because it's not here.
Yeah, clearly.
And Baltimore is literally down the street, y'all. So the fact that we go 30 minutes down the street and they think we're from a different state, like, no, we're literally down the street. Like, and when you tell them where you're from, like, oh, the suburbs. Oh, okay, we get it now. Yeah. It's like, damn, it's not a whole different language. It's just English. Like, it's crazy. And people are more likely in Baltimore to tell you sound white than anywhere else because I swear Baltimore speaks a whole different language.
That makes sense because a lot of the students in middle school did come from Baltimore, so it's probably why.
You're right. And then this like gravitated into PG, and then it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the third reason people code switch is to get or gain something, aka a favor or a job. When you want to get a favor, you might switch over into what you think that person like. With the person who was serving us earlier today, talking about, oh, this food's gonna be slapping. I'm like, what is slapping? Like, what do you mean? We don't understand. Like slapping, right? And he was probably trying to get a tip. He was trying to like get with us and kind of understand where we're coming from. But that's like, you don't have to do all that. Just be yourself.
Right.
The fourth reason is to gossip. People gossip in different languages all the time.
Oh yeah.
So to be honest, that's one of the reasons I wanted to marry somebody who was like within my culture, because I want to gossip about other people without other people knowing. Like,
terrible.
Yeah, like I want to talk to you and people be like, what are you talking about? Unless you're, of course, from my culture. But otherwise, it's like you gonna have to speak English, and it's like, oh, great. People gonna hear what we're talking about.
You can always text.
Right. I mean, yeah, but like in the same room, I don't know, whatever.
People do it all the time.
Yeah, they do. But like people would like to say stuff in secret, and having a whole different dialect and language, it's easier. Even sometimes.
I mean, but people see that also as rude in and of itself.
And if you're in the same room and they're the only one speaking English, and you just change over and start speaking your language, they're gonna be like, okay, can you speak? And that's where you get the whole speak English.
Yeah,
that's where that
there's
comes
a reason why the whole nail salon thing is a running joke, and people don't want them speaking Vietnamese while they're there because everybody thinks that they're talking about their toes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's all
I can kind of understand why people don't want to hear other people talking another language around them. Does not at all justify telling somebody not to speak their own language, because who the fuck are you to tell anybody what to do? Right. You know what I mean? So,
or saying go back to your country. Like I've seen videos where it escalates from speak English to go back to your country. Oh yeah. And it's like, what?
Go back to your country, motherfucker.
Right. Oh wait, you don't have one because you stole this one. Yeah, let's laugh about that. But that's the real sad truth. But if you're going to be a non-black person who is going to talk shit about somebody who's not from this country, think about it first. Like, when you have Thanksgiving, where do you think it's coming from? Did you just land on Plymouth Rock and just bam, we're here? Or did you take it from Native Americans who are still struggling to create a place in this country that you took? Like, we're not even going to talk about that right now, but like, that's the history of this country that you live in. So when you tell people to go back to their country, think first where you come from. Like, let's be honest about that first. And the last reason people use...
Didn't Donald Trump do that? Tell Native Americans to go back to
you know what? I wouldn't be shocked. I'm sure he did.
I'm pretty sure I heard something like that like a year or two ago.
He said so much dumb shit. It's just a mess.
I'm not surprised.
So, and then the last one is conveying a thought. So sometimes you're speaking English and then it just sounds better when you switch over into your like dialect, because it's like... You can explain it better, but when you say it in your language or your dialect, it's like it just sounds better, and you're just like, I was trying to explain.
You're able to express yourself better
like,
as well.
It's just a better way to express your feelings or emotions in that moment.
It's more real and genuine to who you are.
And a lot of people do it. You can start speaking English, and it's like, I can't remember this thing, and you switch languages immediately, and you'd be like, this is what I mean, and you'd be like, oh, okay, I get what you're like. Sometimes it happens that quickly, but okay. And then my last question for Annabelle is: have you ever told somebody that their type of music or style or behavior is white?
I probably have. I don't remember any particular instances, but I probably have or thought that about somebody without telling them directly. So
you don't think you've said it directly? You just thought it, or you said it?
Man, I don't remember. I probably have. Like I said, I don't remember any instances, but you know, there are some things that I see as, you know, stereotypically white, and then be like, you know, why are you doing that? Like, come on.
So you should know better. If you have a bunch of people who are like, let's go pumpkin patch picking.
Let's go. I'm with it. You know, fall is my favorite. And October is my birth month.
Okay.
You a hater.
I'm not.
Hater.
My birthday starts in November and it ends in February. So it is what it is. I'm not hating. Just enjoy your October, because
I sure will.
November comes.
I sure will.
That's it.
And your birthday's in December, not November.
It's November through January and February.
Look, continue.
But yeah, thank you. So I was only asking just because, like, in my experiences, I guess many, I get that all the time. Like, it's pretty, like, at least every function I go to, at least once a function, it's.
Yes, it's so funny.
Like,
it doesn't come from me. I'm just saying, it's funny when people say it.
And I don't even know what I be doing. Like, do I sound white?
To me, no. Like, I mean, they say that you dance white, but I don't see that to be true at all either. I really don't know where they're getting these ideas from. I feel like because you tend to maybe listen to more general pop music, they consider that white. But on the radio, I listen to general pop music too.
That's
like what if it's on the radio?
Like, why does music have to have a race? Why can't music just be music? If I listen to all types of music.
And if you really think about it, black people created all types of music.
From pop
everything.
To country to jazz. Like, I don't get where it's coming from, where it's like, so it's pretty sad because all
the king of rock used gospel, black gospel artists, and we also created rock. So, I mean, come on. Yep,
and Elvis was not the first Elvis. It was a black person first. So, let's be clear. Yes. But, like, it sucks because it's like, I don't really care too much about it. It's just ignorance because when I hear people say it, in my head, I'm just like, oh, so stupid. Like, I'm just thinking like, oh, what a dumbass. Because it's like, I'm not even going to entertain the conversation. Right. I'm like, what are you even saying right now? Like, do you even hear yourself? But it's frustrating.
Like, I can dance to almost anything.
Right. Okay, it doesn't matter. I will twerk to
I don't care.
Chicken fried song from country, wherever. I will twerk to anything. It doesn't matter what the song is. I could twerk to the slowest pop music. I could grind to whatever.
Jolene,
like, yeah.
Jolene.
Hey. So it doesn't matter what the song is, especially if I get some liquor in my system. Bro. I am dancing to whatever song is on the
radio. You know what we need to do? Power Plant has a mechanical bull.
No, we went there already. I went there.
I mean, I've done it too, but we haven't gone together.
No, yeah, we could go. Yeah, like, last time I went, I had a neck injury, so I had a neck brace.
Yeah, I'm done.
So I was walking around with my neck brace, like, I'm sorry, I can't get on the bull. But it's sad. I did go back and experience it one time after, like 2 weeks after I felt like it healed, but it was like a neck snapper. Like, it was not. Yeah, if you have any neck issues or whiplash,
I've seen girls come out their shirt on that one. Like, yes, it's real.
Oh my god,
it's real.
Oh no, I think I've been fully secured.
I got a nosebleed on that one.
What kind of level did they put it on? I don't understand.
I mean, it increasingly gets more and more bucked out.
But
when I feel bad, I need myself in my nose.
Oh, okay. So if you don't fall off, they just increase the level more. Oh, yeah. Because they want you to get off.
They want you to fall off.
Yeah. But yeah, so guys, at the end of this whole episode, I just want you to take the one thing home is 1, stop telling people they sound white. 2, stop telling people that whatever music they listen to sounds white. Or stop telling them they sound white based on what music they listen to. Because music is music. Absolutely. There should be there's genres for music, but there shouldn't be race assigned to music. Because if you want to go all the way back to music history, a lot of it originated from black culture. You'd be surprised
how many Africans listen to country. When I went back home earlier this year, back
especially
in January.
In the South? What?
No, like I'm talking about Ghanaians back home.
Oh wow!
Like they be listening to rock and country more than probably black people do here.
Yep.
Like they love that shit.
It's frustrating that people really see it as a white people thing. So it's like you need to stop labeling even the activities we mentioned: mountain climbing, hiking, fishing, all these things. Even wine tasting. Even just because you see a majority population being Caucasian or not
we
black.
can't go to the club every freaking weekend. Like,
really?
We gotta do something else.
It's not every weekend Ciroc and Bacardi popping. Like, damn, can we do some basic ass shit?
Especially in this COVID-19. Like,
exactly.
We gotta do stuff outdoors.
We need 6 feet distance. I don't need to be on top of somebody in a club popping bottles. Like, it's not like that.
Right. Have dudes breathing all diamonds on my, hey girl, what's up?
Exactly.
All up in your face. I cannot.
Bingo.
Trying to brush by your booty and hold your waist. Anyway.
Exactly. And then act like they didn't do it. It's a mess.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different story.
Why are you laughing? It's true. That shit's annoying.
Are we ready for a restart?
Yes. So, yeah.
We're getting there.
So, yeah, pretty much in summary, that's all I wanted to say is just like, stop labeling people based on regular shit. Like, just because you're not familiar with it. And also, don't label languages that you don't understand as ghetto or ratchet because it's a whole, especially when black people speak, understand it's a whole language that we learn because of our community. So, don't group it under ghetto, ratchet, or not proper, or not English. I mean, it's literally a whole different language. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not real. But yeah, the resources, of course, of Black Lives Matter. So support that. There's a link to give you quick access. Therapy sources, of course, is primary care physician if you have one. If you don't have insurance, you can go to @BetterHelp. It's an online service where you get to communicate with people via phone and FaceTime,
and text.
Of course, text messages. So you don't have to go in person if you want that privacy. And of course, there's a link. We have a link that gives you 1 month free trial, not 1 week, because on the page, if you go directly to BetterHelp.com, it's 7 days. If you go on our link, it's through Thoughtful Human, and you get 1 month through them. And it's been available pretty much all year. And I'm pretty sure it's because it's a pandemic. So take advantage of it before they close it off.
Please do.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have a link of what is AAVE. We teach you of that, the African American language. Yeah. Sounding White, we have a link that explains the stereotype and how to stop conforming to the stereotype. Code switching, definition, what it means, and if you've done it before, which, to be honest, we don't have to explain.
If you're Black, you've done it.
Yeah, you've probably done it, to be honest. Let's be But mental health tip of the week, we also have a link for that. And then Annabelle's going to go ahead and explain what that is for the week.
Yay, my favorite part. All right. So, learn how to deal with stress. Like it or not, stress is a part of life. Practice good coping skills. You can try 1-minute stress strategies such as Tai Chi. I personally like yoga.
What is Tai Chi anyway?
Some type of Asian martial arts.
Is it like...
Sure. Yes. I think you're asking the wrong person. Of course, exercise, a nice brisk 30-minute walk. Take a nature walk, which I love and kind of hate at the same time because bugs ill. Yeah. Play with your pet. If you have one, try journal writing as a stress reducer. I also do that. Very helpful. Also remember to smile and see the humor in life. Research shows that laughter can boost your immune system, ease pain, and relax your body and reduce stress. And here's a scientific fact. It takes less muscles to smile than it takes to frown. That's true. So when you frown a lot, you're giving yourself frown lines, wrinkles, and you're going to age faster. But when you smile, you look healthy and happy, and it doesn't really take that much work. Absolutely. So think about that. But yeah, that's it, right? We don't have it. Thank you so much, guys, for visiting us another episode of the week. And we're actually getting more views on our YouTube. It's not like the best views, but like guys, we appreciate the few people who are taking the time to keep looking at me. Right? Oh, yeah. And I was like, pop in. Y'all like my fro? This is the last time you're gonna sit. I'm getting locked, so y'all better enjoy it while it lasts. Yeah, I'm just gonna get locked soon, and I'll probably just go back to being blonde. So this is just a last minute thing. But anyway, okay, why are you rolling your eyes? Like, say bye to the. Okay, bye guys. Thank you so much for coming. Later.